Daniel Hillard wakes up to a quieter house than he remembers. The walls are filled with photos from a life half-lived. His kids are grown, scattered across cities and dreams. Daniel still struggles to define his place in their adult lives. Comedy auditions come and go with little success. Loneliness creeps in between jokes and smiles. Yet his heart still beats for family above all else. Fate prepares one more outrageous test for him. Lydia is now a driven theater director in New York. Chris runs a tech startup but avoids emotional talks. Natalie studies psychology, analyzing everyone, including Daniel. They love their father, but keep him at arm's length. Old wounds from the divorce still linger quietly. Daniel feels like a guest in their adult lives. He hides pain behind humor, as always. The family bond feels fragile, unfinished. Miranda Hillard is now a powerful publishing executive. Her life is structured, elegant, and emotionally guarded. She respects Daniel but keeps strict boundaries. Years of chaos made her value control above all. She worries Daniel still hasn't grown up. Yet deep down, she misses the laughter. She fears reopening old emotional doors. But destiny has other plans. Miranda faces a sudden crisis at work. A children's book adaptation is collapsing publicly. She needs a family-friendly consultant urgently. Daniel overhears the problem by coincidence. His creative instincts ignite immediately. Miranda refuses his help at first. Time pressure forces her hand. Daniel is invited professionally. Daniel attends the corporate meeting as himself. His ideas are brilliant, but his delivery is chaotic. Executives laugh for the wrong reasons. Miranda is embarrassed and furious. Security nearly escorts Daniel out. Daniel realizes he'll never be taken seriously. Old fears resurface. He's too much. That night, inspiration. Daniel revisits old costumes stored away. Wigs, dresses, accents, memories come alive. A mirror stares back with possibility. He experiments with a softer, wiser persona. A grandmotherly warmth emerges naturally. The voice feels different, calmer, grounded. Mrs. Doubtfire is reborn, but this time with purpose. Daniel updates the disguise for 2026. Subtle makeup, realistic prosthetics, digital ID tricks. A believable online presence is created. Mrs. Euphigenia Doubtfire applies as a consultant. Her resume is flawless and impressive. Miranda is intrigued by her professionalism. She hires her immediately. Daniel is back inside the world. Mrs. Doubtfire dominates the office gracefully. She charms executives with wisdom and humor. Her ideas stabilize the project instantly. Miranda begins to trust her deeply. Daniel observes Miranda from a new angle. He understands her sacrifices more clearly. Regret mixes with admiration. Truth becomes harder to hide. Mrs. Doubtfire accidentally meets the Hillard kids. They instantly adore her warmth. She listens without judgment or jokes. Natalie opens up about childhood trauma. Chris admits resentment toward Daniel. Lydia confesses she misses her father's chaos. Daniel absorbs every word silently. Healing begins, painfully, honestly. Switching identities drains Daniel mentally. He forgets who he is sometimes. The mask feels safer than reality. Mrs. Doubtfire receives love Daniel never did. Daniel fears losing himself completely. Late nights bring emotional exhaustion, but quitting means losing his family again. The lie deepens. Miranda confides in Mrs. Doubtfire privately. She admits the divorce broke her too. She felt like the villain for years. She missed Daniel, but not the chaos. Mrs. Doubtfire comforts her gently. Daniel hears truths he never knew. Forgiveness begins forming silently. Love resurfaces in unexpected ways. Daniel barely avoids exposure multiple times. Voice assistants nearly expose him. A video call glitch causes panic. Chris almost recognizes his laugh. Mrs. Doubtfire invents wild excuses. Physical comedy reaches peak chaos. The tension is constant and hilarious. The lie becomes dangerously fragile. Lydia studies Mrs. Doubtfire closely. Her theater instincts sense something performed. She notices emotional familiarity. The timing feels too perfect. She starts asking probing questions. Daniel struggles to stay composed. Truth hovers dangerously close. A reveal feels inevitable. Daniel collapses emotionally alone at home. He questions his worth without masks. The disguise gave him purpose again, but it's built on deception. He records video messages for each child, prepared to disappear if needed. Tears replace laughter. A choice must be made. The children's film premiere arrives. Mrs. Doubtfire is the project's star consultant. Media and families gather together. Miranda proudly credits Mrs. Doubtfire publicly. Daniel feels the guilt crushing him. The kids are all present. The moment is now. There is no escape. An accident exposes part of the disguise. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Daniel steps forward trembling. He removes the wig slowly. Silence fills the room. The children stare in shock. Miranda's heart breaks all over again. Truth stands exposed. Security intervenes immediately. The media explodes with confusion. Miranda feels deeply betrayed. The kids feel conflicted and hurt. Daniel doesn't defend himself. He accepts full responsibility. He walks away alone. Comedy gives way to raw silence. Daniel faces legal and social fallout. He loses professional opportunities again. Online judgment is merciless. Old patterns seem repeated, but this time he doesn't joke. He begins real therapy. He chooses honesty finally. Growth begins quietly. Each child processes the truth differently. Natalie understands the psychology behind it. Chris acknowledges Daniel's intentions. Lydia struggles with betrayal most. They revisit childhood memories together. Mrs. Doubtfire's kindness stands undeniable. They realize love drove the lie. Forgiveness inches closer. Miranda reflects deeply on everything. She recognizes Daniel's sacrifice, but trust was broken painfully. She confronts her own rigidity. She wonders if people can change. Old love battles old wounds. Her heart softens slowly. A conversation is coming. Miranda meets Daniel privately. Anger finally gives way to honesty. They argue, cry, and laugh weakly. Daniel apologizes without excuses. He admits fear of being irrelevant. Miranda admits missing him as a partner. They don't reunite, but reconcile emotionally. Peace replaces resentment. Daniel reconnects honestly with his kids. No disguises, no performances. Awkward dinners replace grand gestures. Laughter slowly returns naturally. The kids set healthy boundaries. Daniel respects them fully. Love becomes adult and mutual. The family heals authentically. Daniel is offered a new opportunity, not as Mrs. Doubtfire, but as himself, a consultant for family-centered storytelling. His authenticity becomes his strength. Miranda supports him professionally. Mutual respect replaces old conflict. Daniel finally feels seen. Without a mask, Mrs. Doubtfire becomes a symbol publicly, not of deception, but of love's extremes. The character inspires conversations worldwide. Daniel retires the costume peacefully. He keeps it stored with gratitude. The kids honor the impact. Laughter echoes without lies. Closure feels real. The Hillards gather for a simple dinner. No chaos, just warmth. Daniel cooks badly. Everyone laughs genuinely. Miranda smiles without fear. The camera lingers on the costume box. Mrs. Doubtfire's story isn't over. To be continued.